Hey, it's Shannon with Direct Carpet today. Don't mind me, I just finished boxing. We got some action going on behind me with the dogs. This is part 2 of our Anderson Tuftex Muslin Stair Runner. What we're going to show in this video is we're going to show the finish up to the landing and then how to cut your landing and finish your landing. Enjoy.
All right, here we go. We're going to take our spacer, move it up. Now, we've got all this extra carpet. You know we've got a landing coming up. We're just going to get a good knife, and we're going to get rid of that. Okay? Leave enough so you can finish the job. Don't cut it short. And we're just going to put that aside. We'll need that after. Okay? We want to preform under the nose. We're going to get up on our right-hand side here. 45 degree, double tap. Okay? Every inch or so, all the way down. Okay, we're at the end of our staircase before we get to our landing. So we've got to tighten this up, cut this off, nice and clean. Okay. Pressure. Just gonna pre-score this, crease this, just so it makes it easier to get the staples in. I'm gonna pop that out so it's free. I'm gonna take my staple gun. I'm going to put pressure, hip, kicker, and instead of on the 45, remember we're always going to go straight up and down. 1. We're not going to do tons here, because we've got to cut that off. Pressure, straight up and down. One more in the end. Pressure, straight up and down. Okay, now we have to super crease this, because we have to cut this. And now the reason why we went straight up and down is so that we could avoid cutting into the staples. So instead of cutting on the 45, we're going to cut flat on the top of the staples. Like this, we're going to cut from the left to the right. Okay, ready? Don't cut your backer board. Be careful where you place the tip of your knife in. You can always pull it back a little bit and pre-score that. You could start it in here and just start in here, right? So watch. We can cut this here. Okay. Then we can grab scissors. This is so we don't cut our backer board or our riser. Right? Cut it with scissors. Same thing here. Okay, then you don't cut your backer board. Put a couple more staples in there. Take that down. Blow out all the fluff. And voila, you're done. Here. Now we already have our stairs lined up over here, right? We've already centered our stairs going up. They're a little thinner than the ones at the bottom. We've already centered our stair runner landing, so we know approximately where it's going to sit. Okay? We always cut our underpad 1 inch shorter around the whole perimeter, so that if you want to staple, you can staple or glue or whatever, that you have a place to staple all the way around the wood. So if we know that the underpad is set up 1 inch shorter on the back end, right? 1 inch shorter on the back end, that means, realistically, we can just measure from the back of the pad, over the nose, squeeze around under, and down the riser, and get a measurement. I've got 44. I actually see 43 3/4, but I'm going to say, you know, I'm not perfectly squeezed here. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt, add that extra 1/4 inch, and I'm going to say 44. Okay? I'm going to take it over to the other side, and I'm going to do the same thing, because no staircase is ever straight. Well, you want to make sure, right? We're going to bend it over the nose, bend it down, we come up with 44. Okay? Double check it again. 43 3/4, push it up, we get to 44. So, if we got 44 inches, and that was from the end of the underpad over the edge down to the bottom of the riser, and we made sure we left a little bit, right? I'm going to be a little bit tighter. I'd like you guys to, like, you guys should always leave a 1/4 of an inch or a 1/2 inch extra, because you can always cut off more, but you can't add. So my measurement from the underpad, from the end of the underpad down over the nose, down to the bottom, was 44 inches. I know that I cut my pad back 1 inch short, so what is my measurement on my landing? 45 inches, correct. So let's show you how to cut that right now. 45 inches from the end. Look at that, we got 45. Mark with a pencil. Other side, 45. Mark with a pencil. Let's join those up. And now, with a good knife, start in front of the binding, end in front of the binding. Take a pair of scissors, cut through the binding. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing here, cut through the binding. That way it doesn't fray. Now, let's take it back over to the stairs. We cut it at 45 inches, right? If there's any fluff on it along here, you can snip it off, okay? What we're going to do is, now when we make you a landing, we're going to make it so that everything is lined up and matches with the pattern for your stairs. Like this is a herringbone pattern. Don't worry, we're going to make sure that when we make things here, when we manufacture it, we're going to make it so that all your lines line up and look good. So from here to here, all your lines look good. We've got it lined up on the outside, as you can see, right? Let's lock it into place. Wiggle the pile, split the pile. See how I split the pile? I wiggle this. Watch, wiggle. And I staple behind the pile so we don't get indents. I'm going to split it here, and I'm going to try to put my staples on these lines. Easier to hide, right? Split. Let's grab some staples. Now today we are using 9/16 by 3/16 electric gun staples. Moving on, split the pile, split the pile, split, 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 split. Okay, groove that in. Okay, and now remember, at the end of the job, when we're all done, every place where we made a strategic joint, right? We made a joint here. We're going to put a little bit of glue. We're going to use a glue gun and get it in there, okay? We're going to seal that in, and we're going to seal that in. That stops it from fraying over time, locks it into place, okay? Let's pull the stair runner into place just like we would a normal stair, or let's pull the stair runner landing into place like we would a normal stair, up on a 45-degree or a little bit more. And then depending on how tough your carpet is, it's going to depend on how many staples you use. Now I used one probably every inch or so. And you can groove this with the corner of your tucker to get a nice groove. And that's it. Look at your front is lined up. So now let's work on the top. Right? We've got our spacer, which is going to be the same as what our stairs were. Right? And since we're already lined up at the front, we might as well go line up at the back. And that looks pretty good. Okay, and what we want to do first is we want to make it tight from here to here, right? We want to start working it a little bit, okay? Making sure that we're lined up here. Okay, you twist the kicker whatever way you want. If you want to go that way, you go that way. But we don't want that, right? Because now we're out of line. Let's go back this way. See how we feel. Okay. So now that we're lined up, I want to lock in that corner. We're lined up, kick, hold the pressure, right? Kick, hold the pressure. Don't let go. Kick, hold the pressure, lock it into place, okay? If you get an indent in there, bang it down with a hammer. Use your stair tool as a countersink. Now, we're locked in here. We want to lock in along here nice and straight, okay? You can get another spacer here. So whatever your space is here, you want it to be locked up over here, lined up, sorry. and you just follow it along. Okay, we're going to just tighten it up and show you how to do that without the spacer. So between the binding and the carpet, okay, snug. Okay, if you feel you need more, and if you feel that if you can see any of your staples there, countersink them. Okay, we're going to finish this off here. This might be a little bit much. We may want to cut that down. See how that wants to push back. But what that'll do is it'll just pop the staple. So even if you're using tack strip, you're going to want to cut it down because it'll pop out of the tack strip as well. And a lot of times what people don't tell you is when they're doing a staircase like this and they use tack strip, they are also using staples as well. So all the tack strip does with felt back is basically give it a nice groove. Now you can get the same groove as if you cut your underpad nice and straight. It's going to simulate the same thing, especially if you use a really thick, good underpad. So now that we got cut this down, we can pre-crease it to give us a better chance of success. Okay, we're going to take our staple gun. And this will be like finishing any other stair, right? We just want to get a little bit of pressure, not too much, just enough to keep it snug and tight. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Back the other way. It's good enough for me for now. Use more if you need it. We're going to score that, right? We'll cut in here before the binding, right? We'll cut in the middle here. And then what we'll do is we'll take our little black shears and then we'll just finish the line, right? We'll do the same on the other side. And that way you do not cut your riser or your backer board, right? You do from here to here, but then you won't see any knife marks outside. Now, if you do get a knife mark on the outside, you can just take, a little putty that's the same color as your stain or your wood and fill it in. Okay, so that's it for the Stair Runner landing, pretty much. Right now, some of you might want to continue here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, we're not going to do this. This is a demo staircase, so we're actually going to tear this out after. So the less staples that we have to pull out, the better. Keeps the staircase looking new and nice. I don't know if you guys remember this staircase from before, but it used to be blonde. Now it's brown. Let's get a quick look from the top. All right. So there you go. Now remember, we didn't staple on this side, but we do suggest 1 every inch or so. Make sure your pad's cut back an inch underneath, right? Same with this side. You want to go all the way around the perimeter to keep that down nice. You don't want this open, right? And it keeps it nice and tight as well. We're going to continue on from that riser up the rest of the stairs, and we're going to finish off at the top.